Hi guys, this video is about solving equations with variables on both sides. So our first example is 9a plus 2 equals 4a minus 18. Now first what I want to talk about is there is two different ways, or actually four different ways to solve these equations, okay? And this particular way that I'm going to show you two ways on the video, okay? However, I do want to stress, if you have been taught a different way, we should always come out with the same answer regardless how you solve or begin to solve the problem, okay? So our first step we're going to take is to subtract 4a from both sides. I do want to point out that that 4a is positive. So in order to get rid of it, we have to subtract it. Okay. Notice that I'm lining it up. I'm lining up the 4a and the 9a. Okay. They are like terms, okay? So that's going to be 5a plus 2 equals negative 18 because the 4a minus 4a cancels. In other words, it gives me 0. Okay, so now I'm down to a two-step equation, and we can solve that by subtracting 2 from both sides. Okay, I have 5a is equal to negative 20. Next step would be to divide both sides by 5. And a is negative 4. Okay, let's look at this same problem again. Okay, so instead of subtracting 4a first, I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides. Okay, and I'm left with 9a equals 4a minus 20. Okay, so the next step would be to subtract 4a from both sides. Okay, that last step should look familiar because we had it on the other problem. 5a equals negative 20. Now we have to divide both sides by 5. My answer is still a equals negative 4. So let me say again, there's many different ways to solve these particular problems. Okay, look at these two. We started differently. Okay, so, but we still got the same answer. Okay, so our next example, all right, I am going to add 8b to both sides. Notice that I'm lining the 8b up with the 6b. The variable, I'm lining those up because they are like terms. Okay, I cannot subtract 8b from 13 because they are not like terms. Okay, so the next step would be to add 15 to both sides. Okay, and I'm left with 14b equals 28. Last step, divide both sides by 14. B is 2. Okay, here's our next problem. Okay? So I'm going to be consistent, and I'm going to start with this side, and I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides. I think that regardless of the way that you decide to do it, you need to be consistent in what it is you're doing. Okay, when I subtract 2x from both sides, I'm left with 2x plus 4 equals 36. Now I need to subtract 4 from both sides, and I'm left with 2x equals 32. Okay, divide both sides by 2, and x is 16. Okay, I have a few more examples that I'd like to do with you. If you'll give me just a minute and let me erase my board. Okay. Now, again, I'm going to stick with the same side for the purpose of being consistent, and I'm going to add 2c to both sides. Okay. Now, the next step is to subtract 3 from both sides. All right. And then divide by 6, both sides. So C is a positive 2. Okay. Now, let's combine some things with this next example that we learned in our multi-step video. Okay. This is the example that I want us to do. It has parentheses, therefore we have to use the distributive property. Okay. So that is 8 times b is 8b, and 8 times 3 is 24. Okay, so now I'm going to subtract 4b from both sides. Okay, now I'm going to subtract 24 from both sides. Okay, divide both sides by 4, and b is negative 7. Wonderful. Okay, one more example. Again, we are combining some of the skills that we've already learned. Okay, so here we have parentheses again. And in front of the parentheses is a negative sign, okay, which represents a -1. We still have to use the distributive property. So this is going to be -1 times -9. Okay, and first I'm going to bring down the 2x, the negative 2x, minus 9, and then -9 times negative 3x is a positive 3x equals 8x minus 11. Okay, now if you look on this side, you will see that you can combine like terms. Your like terms are 2x and 8x. Okay. Now, subtract 8x from both sides. Okay, next step would be to add 9 to both sides. Okay, divide both sides by negative 7x. And x is equal to a positive 2/7. Okay, and we can leave our answer as a fraction because it's already reduced. And this concludes our video.